Today on Upfront, President Trump's trade fight hits home. Next, iconic Wisconsin companies and products caught in the crossfire. I'll ask the president of Plymouth Sartori Cheese about the impact on the company, its employees, and the dozens of dairy farms that supply it. Plus, have Trump's tweets put Governor Walker in an awkward position? And Democratic candidate for Congress Randy Bryce, is this a good year for progressive candidates?
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. President Trump says that when it comes to trade, the U.S. has been taken advantage of for far too long, and he's just trying to level the playing field. But some Wisconsin companies are now caught in the crosshairs of a growing international trade dispute. The president came to Wisconsin last week for the ceremonial groundbreaking of Foxconn, which Trump called the eighth wonder of the world. But he also took aim at Milwaukee icon Harley-Davidson. The company says it's moving some production to Europe to avoid costly tariffs U.S. allies imposed in response to tariffs the president placed on imported aluminum and steel.
We want to tell, by the way, Harley-Davidson, please build those beautiful motorcycles in the USA, please, okay? Don't get cute with us. Don't get cute.
As other nations respond to Trump's trade moves, Wisconsin companies and producers are feeling the pinch. We're talking about the real-world consequences of the trade fight with Jeff Schwager, president of Sartori Cheese in Plymouth. The company employs some 500 people and buys milk from about 130 Wisconsin dairy farms. Jeff Schwager, it's good to have you on the program today.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here.
So, in a nutshell, this is about the president who says he's trying to level the playing field, imposing tariffs on some of our allies. They, in turn, retaliating by imposing tariffs. What does all of this mean for your company?
Well, obviously, with him picking him picking steel and aluminum, a lot of the countries out there have retaliated against tariffs with cheese, and it's creating an issue for us. When you look at it in Mexico, in particular, they basically overnight put a 15% tariff on. That will be going to 20 to 25%, depending on the category of cheese, starting next week. With that, what we've had to do is to maintain relationships. We have negotiated with our customers down there. We're going to split the tariffs at this point. So what was profitable business for us now is maybe break even. We're willing to do that for the next 90 days.
I was going to say, for how long can you do that? 90 days?
And we'll reevaluate, because we're hoping this isn't a long-term situation. But what makes this really hard for us is we age cheese. So the product that we're supposed to be shipping right now was made a year ago. We didn't know what the trade rules were going to be that. Or today, the cheese we're making is for a year from now. What are the rules going to be?
Yeah. So it's the uncertainty?
Hard. Yeah.
And as a business person, that's the killer, the uncertainty.
That is the killer.
How much of your company's product now is going to foreign countries?
We ship to 49 different countries. We're the current U.S. dairy exporter of the year. And we're a little over 10% of our revenue is outside, but it's our fastest growing business. Our expectations were that 5 years from now it'd be 30% of our revenue. Now the question is, if the trade rules don't change here, that won't happen, and we'll have to, totally replan the business.
Yeah, what do you mean by totally replan the business? What would you have to do if this escalated into something even bigger, or it lasted a long time?
If it lasts a long time and the export markets get closed to us, we would then go, instead of being in a growth mode, we'd be, how do we, basically be status quo for a while.
I talked about 500 employees, but you look at that as families. How many families are you talking about?
I mean, it's 500 families within us processing, but when we look at the dairy farms that are out there that we buy 100% of their milk, there's another, 700 families. It's 1,200 families that are counting on us to make the right decisions and provide for their livelihoods.
One of your big concerns, I know, and stories I've read about your company is what is happening to dairy farmers right now. Give us your best assessment of what is happening to Wisconsin dairy farmers in light of some of these trade moves.
I mean, when you look at the economics here, milk prices have been really low for the past 3 years, and it's made it difficult on that group. But if our export markets get closed, We're going to have to, use the milk. 90% of the milk that's made in Wisconsin is made into cheese. When we can only use it in domestic markets, there's going to be an oversupply. Prices are going to go down. Milk prices will end up going down. And unfortunately, if they go down much further, you're going to end up with a number of dairy farms that aren't going to be able to exist.
What would you say to the president right now? Have you had any opportunity to communicate your concerns to the White House?
To the White House directly, a group of us in the industry have, made an appeal that they eliminate the tariffs on the steel and aluminum, so that the retaliatory tariffs would be taken away. But what we've really, kind of pushed is to say, balance of trade is an issue. I will agree with the president on that. But the issue is China. It's not our allies. I would rather take the approach of, let's get Canada, let's get Mexico, let's get Europe, and let's collectively deal with the China situation instead of us creating this havoc with our allies. The other thing, you talked about the president before.
Right.
I would really like him to go to the U.S. trade representative and let's get some long-term agreements in place. Europe is getting their agreements in place. They've recently negotiated their Canadian agreement and their Mexican agreement for free trade. And we can't get a modernized NAFTA. We need it.
Time is of the essence.
Yes.
Yeah. Jeff Schwager is the president of Sartori Cheese out of Plymouth. It's good to have you on the program today. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Later on up front, we'll look at the relationship between the president and Governor Walker in this election year. But first, Democratic candidate for Congress Randy Bryce will talk about his campaign and if 2018 is shaping up as a good year for progressive candidates. That's next on Up Front.
Up Front with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.